Hi there, I just wanted to make a quick video for you guys on naming things in CSS. So after going through your submissions, some of the things that you've sent to me, I thought, okay, this is great, but we do have to have a discussion on the appropriateness of some of the names that you're using. This is a difficult subject. In fact, it's often said that the most difficult things in computing are, one, cache invalidation, which is a subject all of its own, and two, naming things. And you think how difficult it is to name your cat, for instance, and that's just one thing. It's the same, realistically, with naming things in CSS, except you're not just naming one thing, you're naming many things, sometimes hundreds of things. And it's good to get a system going from the get-go. So I'm going to talk about something called Block Element Modifier here, or BEM for short. Okay, so let's go into the computer. So I'm talking about Block Element Modifier. The first thing we've got to identify are our blocks. Okay, so these are the root objects. And we've seen these so many times now. So here, for instance, we have this navigation at the top, don't we? Right up. Terrible drawing, sorry, I know, but that's how it is. But that would be a block. Okay, coming down, and then we've got our header. So all of this, imagine this, all of this, that would be our block. And then inside our block, we've got these elements. Each of these is going to be an element. Okay, that's inside our header. Inside our nav, we've got this. This is going to be an element inside our nav block, as are these here. Right, so it's really that simple. Now, how does this apply to naming things? Well, first of all, we need to name our block. So I'm going to use this section of the page here because it's easier to explain this concept. Here we have a bunch of cards inside a grid container. And you can see here, I've called these individual blocks, which they are. These are blocks in themselves, these individual cards. I've called them news card. Okay, and inside we have these images. And you can see I've called these news card underscore underscore image. So these images are elements inside this block. Here we have the title. So rather than just calling it title or header or whatever, we've called it news card underscore underscore title. News card underscore underscore separator. Underscore underscore info. You can see everything has this parent block. So you can see everything has this parent block attached to their own individual name. So we just need to look at the name itself. For instance, if we look inside our index, you can see here we've got our news card, which is this here, news card underscore underscore image, and the read more button as well, and the info, news card underscore info. So we have this block here, and it's quite easy to see where these other elements belong because we're actually attaching them to that name. We're saying news card image. It doesn't tend to make the names themselves longer, but it does mean when we come over to our CSS, there's no same amount of confusion. I can see that this image belongs to the news card purely by looking at the name. Okay, so it's providing that context that we normally don't have. If I just called this something like dot first image or whatever, well, first image for what? If I look at that, where does that apply? It could apply to this block here, or it could apply here. This could be the first image. So always plan ahead, always plan what it is you're going to be doing with this maybe weeks ahead. And remember how big your CSS can get. It can get massive. Can't it? Even this is a small page, but we're already talking like 600 lines of CSS. So it's a lot of work there right away. Remember, you're doing this for your future self. When you have to come back here months later, you want to be able to just look at this image, look how it's named, and understand the context that it applies to. So the block, I'll say it again, the block is the root element. In this case, it's just a div, but inside it, we have these elements inside this block: the image, the header, the paragraph, and the button. These all belong inside this block, and therefore use the block's name to provide contextual information. Now we've got one other thing, haven't we? And that's the modifier. So supposing I wanted this first card to be featured in some way, so I want it changed, I want to draw attention to it. So here I would have another class basically, so you can see this one's got the standard news card class applied here. Now I'd create another class saying use card minus featured. Remember, this is a modifier. So we're saying this is a news card, but it's featured. Okay, so we're going to change it in some way. And so here, come into our CSS, and we'll create a news card featured class here. And this is where we could change, say, the background color in some way. Let's create, we'll say, I'm going to call it raspberry. And you can see that's changed the color of that. Nice and simple. But what's even better is, again, we have this context here. So we're saying this is a featured card. And we know it's featured by how it's called here. So it's a news card, and it's a news card featured. Okay, so this is our block, remember? News card. And we've got our elements. So this block is being modified, not just to news card, but to news card featured. And we're coming here to CSS and just creating a news card featured element here. And so this is how I name everything in CSS using this basic block element modifier approach. It provides context where I need it, so when I'm looking through the CSS, I can see exactly what element this CSS is attached to inside my HTML. Provided a link to BEM in the comments below, so you can have a look. Okay, thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.